It's just gone 8 p.m. and you're watching Newsplus right here on ZTN Prime, channel 294 on DSTV with me, Wadzanai Sansole. Let's take a look at the headlines tonight. President Mnangagwa is tomorrow expected in Luanda, Angola, where he will join fellow heads of state and government in celebrating the country's 50th independence anniversary. We will also give you details on 3 new ambassadors who presented their credentials to the president earlier today. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is projecting strong economic growth in 2026, driven by a rebound in agriculture, firm mining performance, and easing inflation. Stay tuned to Newsplus as we give you expert analysis. Now, in our Crime Watch, we give you an update on politician Job Sikhala, who remains in custody in South Africa on allegations of explosives possession. And in our sports, we give you an update into the Warriors camp ahead of their international friendlies against Algeria, Qatar. And now for a close look at the stories making the headlines this evening. President Mnangagwa is expected in Luanda, Angola tomorrow, where he will join fellow heads of state and government in celebrating the country's 50th independence anniversary from Portugal. Now, the president's attendance will cement solid bilateral relations between Zimbabwe and Angola, which are rooted in the liberation struggle where Luanda helped Zimbabwe execute its fight for independence that saw Harare attain independence on April 18, 1980. Now, both Angola's ruling People's Movement for the Liberation of Angola, MPLA, and ZANU-PF remain as towering liberation movements in the region as they continue to implement policies that resonate with their residents. Our correspondent Jamaida Murira, who is in Angola, gives us an update.
In an interview here, Zimbabwe's ambassador to Angola, Dr. Tando Machamuse, confirmed the coming of President Mnangagwa. He said Angolans had every good reason to celebrate, having endured the liberation struggle and the scourge of civil war that lasted over 3 decades after their independence. Political relations between the two countries started soon after Angola attained independence and felt that its freedom was not enough when other African countries like Zimbabwe were still under the yoke of colonialism. Zimbabwe and Angola are both members of SADC region and African Union, of which President Lorenzi is the chairperson of the continental body. As members of SADC, the AU, both Zimbabwe and Angola are pushing to achieve Agenda 2063, which is Africa's blueprint and master plan for transforming the continent into a global powerhouse of the future. Reporting for Newsplus Television News, I am Jamaida Murira in Luanda, Angola.
Now, President Emmerson Mnangagwa today received credentials from 3 new ambassador designates presenting Iran, Ghana and Zambia. As Zimbabwe continues to strengthen its diplomatic relations globally, the 3 diplomats pledged to work with the country in various areas of cooperation. Now, our correspondent Midirain Singo was at State House, where she filed the following report.
First to present his credentials was the new Iranian ambassador, His Excellency Amir Hossein. Iran and Zimbabwe have a long-standing diplomatic relationship, with Iran opening its embassy in Harare in 1980. 2 years ago, the late Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi visited Zimbabwe for a state visit, with the two countries signing 12 memorandum of understanding aimed at expanding cooperation in different fields. The MOUs that were signed by respective ministers and heads of relevant government departments and portfolios were in the fields of agriculture, science, energy, labor, social protection, information communication and technology, and pharmaceuticals, as Harare and Tehran continue to deepen their political and economic ties. The incoming ambassador is committed to continue strengthening economic and trade ties between the two countries, which all have been affected by illegal sanctions.
Has a deep-rooted, relations based on mutual understanding and also common interests at bilateral and international levels. At bilateral levels, the two countries, considering their capacities and capabilities, naturally, in my view, are complementary economies. So during my tenure stay here, we'll focus on the business promotion of trade and economic relations between the two countries. On the multilateral stage, also, the two countries, as you are fully aware, and also was rightly referred by His Excellency Honorable the President of the Zimbabwe, the two countries are, the victims are illegal economic sanctions.
President Mnangagwa also received the credentials of Ghanaian new envoy, His Excellency Bonaventure Advo, who pledged to continue work on removing trade barriers between the two countries. Zimbabwe and Ghana also share a cordial relationship that dates back to the liberation struggle, with Ghana being the first African country to attain independence in 1957. The Western country's first president, Kwame Nkrumah, was a key figure in the Pan-African movement, which Zimbabwe's nationalists drew inspiration from. Ghana opened its mission in Zimbabwe in 1981, and the new envoy is pledged to continue implementing some of the draft MOUs in various sectors that Harare and Accra exchanged before.
We need to elevate that to enhance trade, accelerate trade between the two countries. Currently, the trade between Ghana and Zimbabwe is very low. Meanwhile, we have commonality products. We have a lot of products we need to trade in, taking advantage of Africa Continental Free Trade Area, where exports from Zimbabwe to Ghana go duty-free. Likewise, Ghana to Zimbabwe duty-free. All we need to work on is the transport infrastructure to bring goods to this country. You know, Zimbabwe is a landlocked country, so transportation is a challenge. Through the African Union and PIDA, we need to develop a transport infrastructure to allow goods to move into Zimbabwe at a lesser cost.
Last to present his credentials to the president was Zambia's new ambassador, His Excellency Wilson Tembo. Better known as Siamese twins, both countries were British colonies, with Zambia gaining independence in 1965 and Zimbabwe in 1980. The neighboring country supported Zimbabwe's liberation struggle, providing military training and diplomatic support. The two countries will share a number of resources have explored trade opportunities, particularly in energy.
We had discussions on the many areas of cooperation between our two countries, mainly in the areas of energy, transport, agriculture, tourism. We spoke also about the number of memoranda of understanding that have been signed between the two countries. There are still a few others that are work in progress, which the two countries are working on. And of course, we spoke about Zambia's steadfast support for Zimbabwe in its quest for a non-permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council.
The two countries are co-joined by the Zambezi River and have an intertwined history. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Mirira Nsingo.
Now, after meeting the envoys, President Mnangagwa went on to meet with the management of Netherlands-based Ramfatus Investments as the company looks to deepen its footprint in Zimbabwe's mining and industrial sectors.
Now, President Emmerson Mnangagwa this afternoon received the management of Ramfatus Investments, a Netherlands company that has operations here in Zimbabwe through Canterbury, a mining corporation operating in the Shamba area and is active in Zimbabwe's gold mining sector with the current investment of about 25 million United States dollars. The visiting delegation, led by Dutch entrepreneur and CEO of Ramfatus Investments, Marcel Boekhorn, expressed interest in expanding its business operations across various sectors. Boekhorn's firm, Ramfatus Investments, has a diversified portfolio across Europe and Africa, covering technology, real estate, energy and mining. The company is now eyeing further opportunities within Zimbabwe's resource and manufacturing value chains, a signal of growing international investor confidence in the country's economic reform agenda.
So what they are trying to do now is that they want to expand. So they come to the president to tell them that as investors we are confident with the country and we want to work more. So may you please assist us.
The meeting also touched on Rampasto's ongoing corporate social responsibility projects, which include community development initiatives and support for local infrastructure in areas surrounding its mining operations.
We are mining gold. So it's Canterbury mining gold. And then we're saying that we have built a state-of-the-art school which houses 750 students, and we have also built accommodation for 18 teachers there at Sitoke Primary School.
Trade between Zimbabwe and the Netherlands currently stands at just over $80 million, with Zimbabwe's top exports being ferroalloys and horticultural products, while the Netherlands mainly exports medical equipment to Zimbabwe.
Yeah, we're looking at expanding our production. That is more area to get more ore. That will be more jobs as we're going forward. Remember, the president went to Davos, so these are from Netherlands. Yeah, so that time when the president was saying Zimbabwe is open for business, these are the guys that hit to that core, they invested, but their money went before them, but now they physically come to Zimbabwe.
As Zimbabwe continues to court foreign direct investment, the visit by Rampastos Investments adds momentum to the country's drive to position itself as an attractive destination for responsible and long-term capital. This visit just comes a few days before Nigerian businessman Aliko Dangote arrives in Zimbabwe. Eben Mabunda, ZTN Prime at the State House.
Now, still on economic issues, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, is projecting strong economic growth in 2026, driven by a rebound in agriculture, firm mining performance, and easing inflation. Following its mission to Zimbabwe, which ended on November 5th, the IMF noted that the 2025 recovery has exceeded expectations, reflecting resilience in key productive sectors. However, the fund cautions that fiscal discipline must anchor the 2026 national budget. Now, Melissa Chatkobo gives us the details.
Everyone has a way of measuring the economy. For Prosper Kuretu, a taxi driver in Harare CBD, it's a simple matrix. If his wife doesn't ask for more money than what he's already given her for the monthly household budget, it means the value of his dollar is holding firm. Prosper is not far off the mark. The IMF agrees that household purchasing power is slowly improving. With food supply recovering after a better agricultural season and solid performance in mining, everyday Zimbabweans are beginning to feel a modest relief at the till. Market watchers say the indicators remain encouraging, with strong commodity prices and growing agricultural output expected to keep the momentum going well into 2026.
We've got wheat output, which is quite commendable for the agriculture sector, as well as tobacco output and prices that are quite favorable for the economy, which speak to the increased liquidity as well for the foreign currency generating capabilities, and cuts across the economy in terms of our currency management framework, which speaks to increased foreign currency generation and by derivation increased liquidity.
With the finance minister expected to present the 2026 national budget in Parliament this month, the fund has outlined a set of fiscal priorities for Treasury, which analysts say are within the minister's reach.
And this can be achieved if the Minister of Finance adopt credible revenue projections supported by concrete policy and administrative tax measures for 2026. And he also has to strengthen his expenditure management that would help enhance fiscal resilience.
The fund projects 6% growth in 2025, while Treasury is slightly more bullish at 6.6%. It's a moment where macroeconomic progress must translate into visible change in livelihoods, from stable prices to stronger local industries.
We need to do proper fiscal management in terms of aligning our expenditures to the revenue, proper expenditure management. We have to do prioritized spending especially focusing on essential services and the infrastructure development projects, then our budgeting has to be a zero-based budgeting, right? And then we have to simplify our tax codes.
As IMF tone turns more optimistic, expectations are rising that 2026 could mark a turning point, not just in numbers, but in national sentiment. Analysts say the real test lies in sustaining the momentum to prevent a return to inflation and instability. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Melissa Chitkobo in Harare.
We'll be right back with more updates for you.
The government of Zimbabwe is proud to host the 5th African Public Procurement Network General Assembly from the 11th to the 14th of November 2025 at the Elephant Hills Resort in Victoria Falls. Under the inspiring theme, Transforming Public Procurement in Africa through Innovation, Inclusion, Sustainability and Regional Collaboration, this event brings together 53 African countries organized into 5 regional networks: North, East, West, Central and Southern Africa. This assembly is more than just a gathering. It's a vital platform where leaders, procurement experts and stakeholders come together to exchange lessons learned and best practices. It's a space to strengthen institutions and systems, to promote innovative solutions to procurement challenges, and to address governance and strategic planning issues across the continent. Join us in shaping the future of public procurement in Africa, where collaboration meets innovation and progress knows no bounds. Together, we are building a stronger, more sustainable Africa.
The Phoenix Podcast has always brought you the best of the best.
I missed on that blessing, but I also regained it in some way.
In seasons 1 and 2, we introduced you to the industry's brightest stars, the ones at the top of their game, the creme de la creme. But season 3 promises to be even more exciting. We're bringing you even more fascinating guests, including the renowned farmer, Patrick Matadi. And to top it all off, our very own host, Ken Sharp, will be stepping out of the interviewer's chair and into the hot seat as he gets interviewed by a surprise guest host.
From the boss, we've been beaten, but we're not beaten yet. We can still rise.
Konapo Konapo, Ipapo Ipapo, by ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.
Welcome back and thank you very much for joining us here on Newsplus this Monday evening. Now, just before the break, we gave you a diplomatic relations report and some economic updates. Now, in other news, opposition politician Job Sikala and his co-accused 78-year-old Alexander Tema have appeared before the Pretoria Magistrate Court, formally charged for illegal possession of explosives. Now, the duo have been further remanded in custody to November 13, awaiting formal bail application. Sikala and Tema were arrested early on Friday morning while traveling in a Ford Fiesta, and the South African Police Service is yet to establish what the duo intended to use the explosives for. And according to South African authorities, the explosives are used mostly in illegal mining activities, also ATM and cash in transit bombings by criminals. South African Police Service spokesperson Brigadier Atlenda Mate said this recently, that the 2 men were arrested following a tip-off.
When politician Job Sikala and his uncle Alexander Tema appeared briefly at the Pretoria Magistrates Court, they are facing charges of possession of explosives. It is alleged that on the 6th of November 2025, the 2 accused were stopped by police while driving along Khosimamburo Street. When the police searched the car, they found 26 units of blasting cartridge and 15 units of connector cap fuses. In court, the matter was postponed to the 13th of November for a formal bail application. The 2 are remanded in custody.
Now, moving on, government has reaffirmed its commitment to initiate strategies aimed at improving the livelihoods of every citizen and bridging the development gap between urban and rural communities. Now, this is part of the African peer review mechanism, which seeks to promote good governance through self-assessment, through constructive dialogue and peer learning among member states. African Peer Review Mechanism Zimbabwe's focal point, Ambassador Albert Ranganai Chimbindi, highlighted Zimbabwe's steadfast commitment to advance sustainable social and economic transformation.
So we want to continuously improve for the betterment and well-being of the people of Zimbabwe. That's the idea. Everything that we do as government is to deliver goods and services for the satisfaction of the people of Zimbabwe. That is what the people of Zimbabwe expect, and this is why we are subjecting ourselves to this process. So well-being, which we are looking at now, or the good living that sometimes we talk about, GL, it means you have the basic human needs. You have water, you have shelter, you have pleasure, you have accommodation, you have innovation, you have connectivity, you have transport. So this is what the PRM was also looking at. To what extent are we able to provide goods and services to ensure that people enjoy prosperous and happy lives?
Meanwhile, the African Peer Review Mechanism eminent person, Ambassador Ali El Hefni, said Zimbabwe has achieved economic progress despite being under illegal sanctions.
How did you succeed in facing with courage all those injustices that were imposed upon you? And yet, you are there. You started with the launching of the Second Republic in 2017, started building the Zimbabwe of today, building the Zimbabwe of tomorrow.
Let's take a look at some tech issues now. ICT Minister Tatenda Mavetera has underscored the vital role of artificial intelligence in strengthening national security. In addressing students at the Zimbabwe National Defense University this Monday, Minister Mavetera emphasized that AI-driven solutions are key to developing smart borders that enhance efficiency and ensure greater compliance with government regulations.
We are glad as a government we've come up with a plan which we want to have a one-stop border which is automated. And now with the coming in of AI, we can be able to make sure that we monitor our borders. We can be able to have AI-powered surveillance. There is no need for us to physically check what is in a truck. All we need to do is to use our cameras which are AI rated and also see what is in any truck, for example. We'll match our borders. We can be able to even scan and find out what exactly we can do in terms of making sure that our borders become smarter. Even in terms of even wanting to come and use their passports for them to do all border controls, we can do this through artificial intelligence.
And now for your health update. Zimbabwe is in the process of training doctors and nurses in pre- and post-operative management of obstetric fistula as the country strengthens its efforts to end the birth injuries in women and in girls. Now, since 2015, the country has been running quarterly fistula camps at selected sites, and to date, over 1,200 women have been treated. We get more on the mentorship program in the following report.
For Dr. Rumbidzai Mbudzi, repairing women with fistula is not just a job but a personal commitment. She is determined to restore the dignity of women with devastating birth injuries. Once every 3 months, she travels more than 400 kilometers from Bulawayo to Bikita district in Masvingo for the fistula repair mission.
When I got here, I started to hear the stories from the women themselves, how they were suffering, how they couldn't get, they didn't know that they could get help, and from then onwards I was hooked. That's when I started coming for the program. I then decided I wanted to become a fistula surgeon and help these women.
Dr. Mbudzi, MNT in the fistula repair program, believes the mentorship is critical to ensure every hospital can provide fistula repair surgeries. Fistula is a wall between the birth canal and the bladder or rectum caused by prolonged obstructed labor without timely access to appropriate health care and emergency obstetric care. Women with fistula endure depression, social isolation, and deepening poverty as a result of the injuries.
It's challenging because we keep seeing women coming, we keep seeing problems that are happening. It's not a problem that we can say that we can eradicate it maybe next year or in the next 2 years.
Dr. Zindoga Bungu, the executive director at Mashoko Christian Hospital, emphasized the importance of the mentorship program. He also highlighted the need to prevent fistulas by making sure pregnant women get timely quality healthcare services.
We hope that after the donors go, that we would have been capacitated to carry on. I said we, but maybe I should say my doctors, because I'm old, I'm retired, I'm just working because I'm a preacher, and maybe I'll move away. But I hope that the young people who are working with will carry on.
Obstetric fistula is one of the most serious and tragic injuries that can occur during childbirth. A fistula specialist from Mali, who is leading the currently running fistula camp in Mashoko, commended the sacrifices by doctors such as Mbudzi, adding the need to train more doctors for a sustainable program. The majority of the affected are often vulnerable and cannot afford this corrective surgery.
The program aims to share our experience with our colleagues here. So first we need to introduce new young doctors to the fistula situation, like to do the good diagnosis of the cases. That's not very easy, and to know the different cases and the different type of fistula, to do the good diagnosis for fistula, obstetric fistula. Also to help young specialists to introduce them to fistula surgery.
It's a step in the right direction, and having fistula repair surgeries accessible and affordable across the country's hospitals will go a long way in restoring women's dignity. Reporting for CTM Prime, I am Mirira Nsingo.
Now, the fight against drug and substance abuse is gaining momentum at Chabwino village on the outskirts of Harare, where members of the Johane Masowe Echishanu Apostolic sect have joined hands with local leaders and residents to fight this scourge. More in the following report.
For years, Chabwino residents have watched their once thriving farming community suffer as drug and substance abuse took hold, tearing families apart and robbing the area's youth of their future. Now, the Johane Masowe Echishanu Apostolic sect has brought a message of hope, combining faith and community action to fight drug and substance abuse.
Asidai hurumende yaigona kuti mutemo unge uchiita kuti zvinhu mashops kana kuti matakishops avharwe in time, vachiongororawo kuona kuti pane zvikwata zvacho vanga zviparadza sei.
Iri nhau yemadrugs pamaonero andinoita nini, madrugs chinhu chisina kunaka pamararamiro edu, pamararamiro emhuri dzatiri kubereka tichienda kumberi. Tikakurudzira kuti madrugs chinhu chakanaka, vana vedu vatiri kubereka izvozvi ramangwana racho rinenge risina kujeka. Mukakatarisa izvozvi vana vakutongoonda vachingoita vamwe vakurwara nenhau yekuti zvinodhaka zviri kuita se zviri kuvawandira.
Madrugs yakaipira kuti varume vakadhakwa vanenge vakurova vakadzi, uye hatidi zvekudhakwa, varume ngavasiye kudhakwa.
The Johane Masowe Echishanu sect by Daniel Matamba, known as Madzibaba Benji, is determined to empower young people and clean up communities affected by drug and substance abuse.
Sekuneza kwa yaita, taitokumbira kuti vanhu vanotengesa madrugs dai vapiwa life in jail. Ndo chikumbiro chedu kuti vanhu vanotengesa madrugs vapiwe life in jail. Nyaya kuti munhu akabatwa akaenda mumapurisa apo mangwana okozi $20 hasikuzwa kurwadza kwazvo, tiri kuurayirwa vana.
Madzibaba Benji says community cooperation remains crucial in identifying drug dealers and hotspots.
adzikwanise kuti nditaure nyaya yemadrugs ini ndichite madrugs nekuti ndireke ndichitoataura ndichiadzikisira. Saka tiri kukumbira kuti vanhu vari muno musociety vaite hand to hand nemapurisa pamusoro pemadrugs. Aona kutengesa madrugs ngaakwenyere mapurisa, vanhu ngavasungwe, vanhu ngavapinde mukati.
Traditional leader Chief Chinamora has also thrown his weight behind the initiative, calling for unity in tackling the growing crisis.
Pekugamuchira chinhu chaunenge usina kupiwa nemubereki wako. Kuona kwangu inisa mambo nerimwe shoko. Iyi inzira yatashanyirwa nayo yekutorerwa chatakabata muruoko. Nekuti taive neupenyu hwedu hwatairarama muno. Tichirera vana vedu vachiroorwa zvakanaka, tichikura sana baba tichichengeta mhuri dzedu zvakanaka. Asi nhasi uno tatorerwa mararamiro edu nemagariro edu ataiita sevana veZimbabwe. Tatanga kuunzirwa zvinodhaka pakati pedu kuti zvitipatsanure, zvibvise ukama hwedu, zvitishorese nekutiurayira nyika. Tinofara chose nekuti mhuri yaungana tinge tichiparidzira shoko irori ratiri kushuvira kuti dai rapararira nyika yose, mumwe nemumwe aziva kuipa kwezvinodhaka, taziva patimire, taziva kwatiri kubva, taziva kwatiri kuenda.
With both spiritual and traditional leaders now involved, Chabwino residents say they are hopeful that the joint efforts will help restore peace and discipline among the youth.
Now, it rained in a couple of areas this past weekend. So as we start this new week, we now give you the weather update live from the Meteorological Services Department. We cross over to our resident weatherman, James Ngoma. Good evening, James. Thank you for joining us. James, rains are slowly trickling down in most parts of the country. What can we expect in terms of rain as we get into this week, and also just the general weather outlook for the days ahead?
Thank you very much for that question. Looking at the conditions that we had a bit of a sunny break over the central parts of the country. This led to isolated thunder showers over much of the central watershed, and these thunderstorms were rather light in terms of the rainfall that we received over this area, mostly below 20 millimeters. However, to the southern and northern parts, we still had a bit of cloudiness, but this did not yield much in terms of rainfall. In the weeks ahead, we are still expecting more rainfall, but for this current week, we're still expecting isolated thunder showers, especially along and to the north of the main watershed. This should give us a bit of thundery weather, especially because of the influence of the northeasterly airflow, which is warming up much of the atmosphere, giving us more insolation. Looking at the conditions that we've had across much of the country, we're still expecting a bit more rainfall, and the month of October had normal to below normal rainfall, but for the month of November, we're expecting a slightly better outlook. So we expect more in terms of the rainfall for the month of November. But as we get into December, we're expecting much rainfall. So for the farmer, you should consult your local agriculture officer in terms of when to plant, what to plant, and how to plant it. So we still go back to the grassroots and try as much as possible to localize the information so that the people are able to absorb it and use it to the best of their advantage.
Thank you very much, James. Appreciate your input. Now you can take a closer look at the weather forecast, and shortly after that, we'll give you your global updates.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Didn't graduate? I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoiled.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
The guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
Welcome back. Let's now take a look at what's happening in the world around us. And we start with South Africa, where experts have criticized US President Donald Trump for demanding the exclusion of Pretoria from the G20, saying the Global South should look to alternatives like BRICS and create a fairer new world order. Trump is set to skip the G20 in Johannesburg after imposing 30% tariffs on the country, the highest rate across the African continent. Now, reacting to Trump's statement, South Africa's Department of International Relations and Cooperation said that the country is confident to host a successful and inclusive summit and that preparations are continuing as scheduled.
It's something not surprising. President Trump always had an agenda against South Africa. So the participation of South Africa and indeed the creation of other relations with other countries appears to have angered Donald Trump, and that is why he does not want to see South Africa participating anymore in the G20 activities.
Now, in other global news, the decision by the Burkinabe government to temporarily suspend imports of broiler chicks has elicited mixed reactions from poultry farmers and consumers. The authorities have taken this step in an effort to boost domestic production and reduce dependence on foreign supplies. Some farmers expressed support for the government's intentions but questioned the timing.
C'est une très bonne initiative, c'est une très bonne décision. Seulement que la décision est venue à un moment où on ne devrait pas le prendre. Parce que sincèrement, ces mois-ci, c'est les mois de préparation des fêtes. Tout le monde est accéléré à chercher des poussins. Et la décision pourrait être prise après la fête. Voilà, ça qui allait peut-être aider les gens. Sinon, actuellement, pour fournir les gens en poussins, pour que les gens puissent gagner les poussins pour faire l'élevage.
We now take you to Mali. Bamako has been facing a severe fuel crisis since early October, with attacks on fuel deliveries causing acute shortages, power outages, and the suspension of key public services. Now, last week, the US, Britain, and France urged their citizens to leave the landlocked country due to the deteriorating security situation. And Bamako residents have reacted to these government calls for its citizens to leave Mali, accusing them of trying to stoke panic.
Par rapport à ce sujet concernant la situation de France actuelle, l'appel vraiment de ces populations pour aller chez eux, moi je dirais que c'est pour semer tout simplement la panique au sein de notre société malienne. Nous, on est là, on n'a pas peur. On va soutenir cette transition jusqu'au bout. Ils sont en train de mouiller les maillots pour améliorer notre condition de vie et nous allons les soutenir jusqu'à la fin. Même si ça restera qu'un seul Malien, on va lutter jusqu'au bout pour avoir vraiment cette lutte en victoire.
Now, a catch-up vaccination campaign was launched across the Gaza Strip on Sunday, targeting children who missed essential routine immunizations during the conflict with Israel. The drive, which is implemented at 150 health centers under the supervision of the Palestinian Health Ministry, is supported by UN agencies including UNRWA, UNICEF, and the World Health Organization.
نحن في جمعية الهلال الأحمر الفلسطيني بالشراكة مع يونيسيف ومنظمة الصحة العالمية والأمم المتحدة ووزارة الصحة الفلسطينية قمنا بتهيئة الظروف لتشكيل هذه الحملة التطعيمية للأطفال الذين لم يتلقوا هذه التطعيمات منذ عامين في أثناء الحرب التي كانت على غزة. طبعا هذه الحملة تشمل جميع التطعيمات وجميع الفئات العمرية من سن شهر حتى سن 15 سنة. الحملة حتستمر لمدة 9 أشهر أول 3 أشهر في عنا 10 أيام، والثلاث أشهر التانيين نفس الشيء، والثلاث أشهر الأخيرين حيكون برضو آخر حمل 10 أيام عبال ما تستقر الأمور في قطاع غزة ويكون التطعيم مهيأ وجاهز لكل الأطفال الفلسطينيين.
Renewed Western sanctions combined with rising inflation and currency fluctuations are putting severe pressure on Iran. And ordinary people are fleeing the strain in their daily lives, from medical care to small businesses. Now, sanctions lifted under the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the 2015 Iranian nuclear deal, were reimposed late in September following the failure of a UN Security Council resolution to extend sanctions relief for Iran.
I'm 41 and have lived with thalassemia all my life, but there are more than 6,000 young patients under 18. Their bodies are weaker, their mortality rate is higher. We've been coping with shortages for 8 years, and I just want to see the day without medicine shortages.
And now in Brazil, at least 6 people have lost their lives and around 750 sustained injuries as a powerful tornado devastated the municipality in the southern Brazilian state of Paraná, causing massive damage to homes, to businesses and public roads. And according to authorities, the tornado affected approximately 90% of homes and commercial buildings. Now, preliminary information indicates that the tornado was associated with a cold front and could generate wind gusts of at least 100 kilometers an hour in other states. Those were your foreign updates. Coming up is business.
Welcome wherever you are. And Marmoush, room to shoot. He well and truly did. It's an opportunity. What a shot to Sono! Scott's got to be careful. Bukayo Saka! But it's Salah, and that one delivers!
Never miss a play, home or away. Stream all Premier League games live on Showmax.
Welcome back, gospel music lovers, to another season of My Ultimate Gospel 10. Your ultimate destination for soul-stirring melodies and inspirational stories.
But prepare me for a good day.
God is faithful because He's holy.
Wow, this is beautiful. Each week, they'll be revealing their top 10 gospel songs. Meet Miss Becky K, the dynamic and passionate new presenter for Season 3.
If you are ready, let's get into My Ultimate Gospel 10.
Premiering soon, only on ZTN Prime. Stay tuned and let the music uplift your soul.
Zimbabwe is tightening efforts to boost productivity and reduce post-harvest losses through enhancing agricultural mechanization. Now, a delegation led by the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Vangelis Haritatos, is attending Agritechnica, the world's leading trade fair for agricultural machinery, held in Germany. Deputy Minister Haritatos said that Zimbabwe's participation is geared towards addressing gaps in farm mechanization and irrigation infrastructure, which are key in improving productivity and mitigating climate change.
We'll be meeting with companies to do with mechanization, specifically tractors, combine harvesters. We have just over 16,000 functional tractors in Zimbabwe, but we still require up to 40,000 tractors. With regards to combines, we are about 395 functional combines in Zimbabwe, but we still need up to 600. When it comes to implements, we need 4 implements per every tractor, so we're looking at up to 160,000 implements. But part of this, obviously, we want to get from local suppliers. So right now we want to just focus on tractors and combine harvesters. In addition to that, the function that we're attending also has an irrigation development part of it. As you know, we want to take our irrigation development to 496,000 hectares across the country, and that means that we need to invite more irrigation suppliers to come into Zimbabwe so that we can meet the deficit. Right now we have just over 220,000 hectares of functional irrigation. So we still have quite a long way to go.
Now, the Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority, ZERA, has cut the price of petrol for November by 1.91%. ZERA set the November pump price for petrol at $1.54 per litre, down from $1.57 per litre in October, the first downward adjustment since the end of the third quarter. Diesel has remained at $1.57 per litre since September, suggesting limited wholesale cost movements in the distillates category. Now, the energy regulator did not explain the adjustments, but market analysts typically track price reviews against refining costs, shipping, and crude benchmarks. International crude markets have been volatile in recent weeks, particularly due to Middle East supply dynamics, a softer demand outlook from Europe and China, and the way traders have navigated shifting global economic recession probabilities. Now, in other business news, Africa's billionaire Aliko Dangote is expected to visit Zimbabwe this week to tie up business deals estimated to be around $1 billion, covering multiple sectors. On this business mission, Dangote will meet President Emmerson Mnangagwa, top government and private sector officials to map out the investment deals. The billionaire runs Dangote Industries Limited, a Lagos-based diversified conglomerate with vast business interests in cement, flour, sugar, salt, pasta, beverages, fertilizer, real estate, oil and gas sectors, and logistics. Now, its operations span other critical business interests, including a large oil refinery, a petrochemical plant, and a fertilizer complex in Nigeria. It also has operations in 16 other African countries. Those were your business updates. Stand by for entertainment news.
Join the 2025 National Tariff and Competition Conference hosted by the Competition and Tariff Commission, happening on November the 13th and 14th at Cresta Lodge and Sango Conference Center, Harare, under the theme Fair Markets, Strategic Tariffs, Driving Innovation, Investment and Regional Competitiveness, featuring industry leaders including Honorable Ngobezi Tandlovu, who will be the guest of honor, Dr. Willard Mwemba, and other top experts in trade and competition. Contact us via WhatsApp on 0711 459 595 to register now.
Captain Wally J's about to take you to boot camp.
It's the riveting science and tech show that keeps you up to date with the hottest gizmos on the block and revealing the illustrious and innovative visionaries in Zimbabwe. So much to see, you'll keep swiping.
This cherry red beauty is the Dairy Auto M7 mini electric car.
We've designed our brute force incubator board.
Look at what we've got here.
Solar powered scarecrow was part of the project that I was supposed to complete.
Catch Swipe every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. on ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294. Get the picture?
A new cinema, Roadhouse Cinema, has opened at Semlevi Village, bringing excitement to movie fans. The launch, which was held over the weekend, has come with a new addition to the local entertainment scene. More in the following report.
The joy of watching movies on the big screen has returned, bringing with it a sense of excitement and community that's been missing for a while in Harare. Latest Hollywood blockbusters and classic films will now be showcased with the opening of Roadhouse Cinema at Semlevi Village, reviving cinema culture and offering a space for families and friends to come together and appreciate film.
So Roadhouse Cinema is for everyone. You can bring your whole family. We offer a variety of things and movies for all ages. So for now, we're offering kiddies movies, we're offering teen movies and adult movies as well. A whole genre: action, comedy, anime.
The local talent in Zimbabwe's film industry and theatre is also set to get a boost and be celebrated.
So at Roadhouse Cinema, we plan to celebrate local talent. So we're gonna do live theatre, So you can do your choirs, you can do your musicals, you can do your comedy shows.
The space for entertainment and socializing has widened, offering patrons a new cinematic experience and a fresh spot to unwind.
Now here's what you can expect in sport. Chevron's name squad for T20I Tri-Series in Pakistan.
Get ready for another banging season of Faith on Trial as it enters its 4th season.
In the beginning was the Word. Jesus is just a name. I believe in Jesus Christ.
He died that they which live should no longer live for themselves, but live for Him.
Rastafarian is not a religion, it's a way of life.
We continue to bring you all the controversial discussions in and around religion like no other.
But not now. This platform is very inclusive, open to conversations when it comes to matters of religion and spirituality.
The conversation just got more interesting.
chinonzi manjusu achitaurwa pamunhu jekerere ndezvinhu zvatinotora sekuti chivanhu chedu cheZimbabwe chakavanzika.
We bring to you all issues religion and spirituality, from the Islamic walk of faith, Christianity, the Rastafarians, the Shintoists, even the cult believers. We have it all. It's about to get interesting. Don't miss it for the world. Catch the epic new season of Faith on Trial on DSTV channel 294.
Learning has gone up, and away on the ZTN Prime Kids block as we blast off into the world of science, language, mathematics, and many more.
There's a living dinosaur in the woods!
Get the crew together, let's have an after-school homework party.
Your friends would think so too. Definitely. It would be nice if everyone could enjoy them. Aliens.
Unicorns.
I wonder what the unicorns would wear.
Remember, learning is fun when you're tuned into ZTN Prime.
Boy Robo to the rescue!
The ZTN Prime Kids block. Catch it Monday to Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. on DSTV channel 294. Get the picture?
Zimbabwe Cricket has announced a 15-man Zimbabwe squad for the upcoming T20 International Triangular Series in Pakistan, also featuring Sri Lanka, as part of the team's build-up to next year's ICC Men's T20 World Cup. The only change from the squad that recently faced Afghanistan at home sees pace spearhead Blessing Zarabani miss out due to a back injury, with Newman Nyamuri coming in as his replacement. Led by Captain Sikandar Raza, the Chevrons will open their campaign against hosts Pakistan in Rawalpindi on 17 November before facing Sri Lanka at the same venue on 19 November. They will then travel to Lahore for their remaining round-robin fixtures, meeting Pakistan again on 23 November and Sri Lanka on 25 November. Now, the top two teams on the points table will contest the final on 29 November in Lahore. We move on to football now. The Warriors are now in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia ahead of their international friendly against Algeria on Thursday. The squad features a mix of local-based and South African-based players, with Jonah Fabish already in camp. The European-based contingent is expected to complete arrivals this Monday. Now, the Warriors face Algeria on Thursday before they play Qatar 3 days later in Jeddah. The friendly is part of the Warriors' preparations for the Africa Cup of Nations finals coming this December in Morocco. It'll also be new Warriors coach Marinika's chance to assess his squad for the time. He will be without the services of the Scotland pair of Taimon Machope and Knowledge Musona, who are nursing injuries. They've also since been replaced by Ishanesu Mauchi and Prince Dube. Still on sport, it was yet another dramatic weekend in what is turning out to be a frenetic end to the 2025 Castle Lager Premier Soccer League season, as a series of draws meant the positions of most teams fighting relegation remain largely unchanged. All but one of the 9 matches involving teams in the relegation matrix yielded a win, with the rest ending in deadlocks. Triangle did themselves a world of good in their bid to swim to safety after a 4-0 win over already doomed Kwekwe United at Gibbo Stadium. Now, Dynamos, Yada, Greenfield, Bikita Minerals, Chicken Inn, Caps United, Manika Diamonds, and Highlanders all drew their respective matches. And with just one round of matches remaining, Dynamos coach Kelvin Kaindo is optimistic about their chances based on the character shown in the match against Yada and others in recent weeks.
In terms of play, I think I don't know how many chances we missed by the goal line, those that were cleared by the goal line. We could have wrapped up this game in the first half. A lot of intensity from this game. Both teams, we could see how the intensity was. And the last few minutes, you could see that the endurance was no longer with us, with both teams that were playing. But for us to concede in the added time and come back shows that indeed God is with us. It was difficult and nobody thought we'd come out with a point, especially when we conceded after 90 minutes. I saw the character, I saw the determination. Last corner, we pushed the fullback to go forward. His last cross ended in the goal. It shows that slowly we are developing the character, the will, and also the mentality for us to keep on pushing. It's unfortunate we dropped 2 points, but a point for us now is better than nothing. Yeah, we thought this would wrap up, but we thank God for the point. I'm sure we are still a bit safe, but it could have been better for us to get maximum points today. But going back home with a point is better than nothing. We look forward again to the last game. We still remain unbeaten, and hopefully we can maintain that unbeaten run.
Now, in the northern region, Agama secured promotion after piping Ngombe to the northern region soccer league title on the final day. Ngombe went into the final day with a 1-point lead, but fell to a 1-0 defeat away to Moors FC at Ngoni Stadium. Agama took full advantage, thrashing FC Oden 4-0 in Chinoi to finish on 88 points, 2 ahead of Ngombe with 86. Now, Agama FC coach Paul Chimalizeni, who joined the club in mid-season, credited the consistency which saw them go 23 matches unbeaten for their title success.
I'm very happy winning this championship because it wasn't an easy road to the championship. We still have won it at the last day of the season. So it shows that we have worked hard for it. And we knew we were going to do it because we have been consistent since I took over in July. It's now 23 games without a lose. So, and I applaud the guys. They have worked hard to achieve this championship. So, I'd like to thank the Tyrone community, Mr. President, Marvin Moyo, entire executive, and everyone was behind us for the championship, and we've won it for them. It's not for us. We've won it for them, and we played for the badge. So I think that's what I can say.
Hard Rock FC will play top flight football next season after sealing promotion from the Ziffa Central region. Hard Rock beat MSU 2-0 at Baghdad Stadium in Kwekwe on Saturday to lift the Central Region Championship with a game to spare. That's it on Newsplus this Monday evening. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Wadzanai Sansole. Have a good night.